What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday is the day of Saturn. Saturn isn't just about boundaries and limitations. It's about reality. When we look at reality, we want to know what's really going on. What's really going on. And when we talk about, releasing our shadow masks, we have to agree with ourselves, make a commitment to ourselves to be ourselves, because a lot of times we are missing our blessings, missing our opportunities, missing, the path of least resistance because we are wearing a mask. We're being who the world expects us to be. We're being who, circumstances have molded us into to be able to believe we're protecting ourselves, to have, that sense of predictability and really have what we believe is control in our lives. And I can speak to you candidly and in depth about this because I myself have made myself the victim of wearing specific masks, and the cosmic collective consciousness have been preparing you guys for this talk almost all week, because they talk about, recognizing our blessings and, being who we're meant to be and things of that nature. Throughout the whole week, the lives on YouTube have, coincidentally been lining you guys up for this conversation. We go through life and sometimes, we put on masks so we're scarier than the things that we're afraid of. We put on masks so people will see us as valuable. We put on masks so people will see us as not a threat. We put on masks to be socially acceptable. And while we're hiding our true self in order to receive approval, love, acceptance from people in situations that aren't aligned with our divine path, we make ourselves unrecognizable. We make ourselves unrecognizable to people that we have soul contracts with that are of a higher level of importance than social status. We make ourselves unrecognizable to our blessings, our opportunities, our prosperity, because before you're seen, your frequency is recognized. For those of you who are members of Mystic University or in the Pathways class in Mystic Temple, you understand that you have energetic centers. You have hectors in your shoulders. These are beacons that allow you to be found by your soul contracts, by your guides, by your blessings, by your opportunities, by your luck, whatever you want to call it. But if you're somebody who finds yourself always missing out, picking the wrong person to be in a relationship with, your deals not going through, you have to look first at yourself and ask, am I projecting the type of energy that allows me to attract the things that I say I desire? Am I wearing a mask that scares these things away? Not in a literal sense of them being afraid, but in a sense of you being unrecognizable by your energetic signature for your blessings, for your opportunities. And when I say opportunities, I'm speaking far, far beyond material opportunities. You have opportunities to grow every day. And major opportunities, they come at least once a month. And you scare them away. You reject them. Your energy signature doesn't match the signature that was on that soul contract, on that energetic agreement. So you're actively, maybe unintentionally, but by wearing masks, by projecting an energy signature that doesn't resonate with your soul, you are repelling the things that are meant for you. And if you feel like, yeah, I might be repelling some things, but I'm still materially successful. If you feel like that, this is like somebody going to the bank and they have $1 million for you for a loan. And you're like, no, I'm just interested in 100,000. I'm just interested in 10,000. 10,000 allows me to feel like I'm comfortable and I'm in control and I don't got to pay. I'm comfortable with that. Because your energy signature, it isn't aligned with the blessings that you lined up for yourself. Not that the universe has lined up for you, that you lined up for yourself. Because when you decided to incarnate, you plotted out a list of missions and rewards for yourself. And from this reward, I'm going to be able to take myself to this higher level. I'm going to be able to take humanity to this higher level. But you've been indoctrinated to put on a mask for acceptance, a mask to fit in, a mask to protect you from the things that you feel that you fear. Now, say you feel that you fear because you don't have anything to fear. Nothing and no one. Because when you understand your power, when you take the responsibility to really feel and understand your power, you understand that while your body may be limited, you yourself are an unlimited and unmovable force. Nothing can harm you. There's situations that may be created that make you more certain in your faith, and your faith, your force, your spiritual fortitude. But when you walk those things down, when you stare them down, when you decide that you are a power that is unmatched, that's when you embrace your universal positioning. And over the past, today's the 25th, say 17 days, almost 3 weeks now, I've been moved to really get back into, the rituals that I do, the meditations that I do, the qigong, the yoga, and the things like that. And the day before yesterday, I was up doing my yoga exercises, and my guides, they had me doing two exercises. Number one, the Cobra pose. And then when you withdraw from the Cobra pose, you're in the prostration pose. And it came to me the other day while I was doing it, you are the serpent that's being worshipped, the Kundalini energy, and you are the person that is prostrating to it. So those two yoga poses are very powerful, not only for simulating your Kundalini energy, but coming to a state of realization that the best worship you can have is the worship of self. And that doesn't mean idolize all the foolishness that you see projected on TV or on the social media spirituality groups. It means absolutely embracing your divinity and having reverence for your divinity, like you had for Jesus in church, like you have for Allah, like you have for Buddha or the Orishas or the voodoo spirits. You go out of your way to wear a mask of a servant and you pray to these idols, because an idol is just a vessel that the energy is captured in, of embodying your divinity. If a wheel has 100 spokes on it, each of those spokes are like you, the universe, because we're all the universe personified as a spoke. But instead of realizing your strength as a spoke that holds the wheel of reality together, you turn to praise the spoke of Oshun or Isis or Ra or Ogun or Buddha or Kuan Yin, not realizing that if you as a spoke broke, the wheel would become weaker. It wouldn't rotate perfectly. So you have to stop wearing the mask of a servant, of a faithful devotee, and start practicing that self-devotion, acknowledging your divinity. For you to reject your divinity by seeking forces or recognizing forces outside of yourself, meaning outside of your soul's mission, because everything is one, but outside of your soul's mission. And we Monica talked about it yesterday and the day before about the 3 pillars. The 3 pillars: your physical vessel, soul growth, and your life purpose. Your life purpose isn't to glorify all divinity except for your own. That doesn't aid in your soul's growth. So just as much as you light candles for prosperity, just as much as you light candles for love or protection, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to give those praises and adorations and celebrations and libations to your own soul. Because you've been taught to wear a mask, not just a mask of the servant, devotee, the mask of the wife, the mask of the husband, the white mask of the good brother. Who are you really? Don't cosplay in your divinity. Absolutely, Sharisa. Who are you really? How many times have you celebrated the manifestations that you've made? The decisions that you made that have impacted your life? And how many times have you given that glory to God or to your ancestors or to this Orisha or that Loa? Be honest. Because this goes back to yesterday's cosmic collective conscious message. Everybody wants money, but nobody's willing to receive. And part of receiving is holding on to it. You let go of your divinity when you give all the credit to a deity that you worship. It's really self-worship, but you wear a mask that you're a servant and that you're separate from the energy that you idealize. And when you can't recognize your divinity, you can't, or you refuse to. I'm not going to say can't, because everybody can. It's a choice. And it isn't, an instance of faking it till you make it. It's about giving yourself that acknowledgement, watering your soul, life purpose, soul growth, physical vessel. You can't water your soul. You can't live your purpose if you're not taking care of your body. Whether you're eating crap that you know you shouldn't eat, whether you're living a high risk lifestyle, or whether you're just not, pardon me, making any effort to keep your machine moving. That doesn't help you in your life purpose. That doesn't help you in your soul growth. And this is why I got popping back on my meditation. And I highly recommend that, you take time out. You take time out every day, not just to do the, exercise the Divine Mother taught us about tapping into your soul by focusing on your heart and feeling that connection with your soul, but taking the time to pull from your higher energy centers, your higher hectors above your head, pulling them all the way, down to your feet, and allowing yourself to ground in your divinity like you've been trained to ground in passivity, in powerlessness, in disguises and masks and personas that you feel again acceptance that you need. When you take off the mask and you allow yourself to be enriched by your divinity, the people who don't matter don't get attracted. But the people who do matter, the people who can help you with your life purpose, the people who can help your soul grow, these are the people that start to come into your life. You have masks, and not only do they prevent your blessings from fully finding you, your soul contracts, your soul mates, your best friends and things from finding you, your masks, they obscure your vision. In order to cover your face with a mask, you got to cover your third eye. So your perception isn't going to be clear. You got that energetic mask on. It's covering your crown chakra. It's covering your third eye. Probably goes down over your neck. You're not speaking. And when I say you're not speaking with power. You're not speaking into existence. Goes back to the, class in Mystic University about 2 weeks ago about, projecting with the word sounds, vibrations, frequency. And what about that inner talk? What about those inner conversations where you reject solutions? You reject compliments? That's because that mask you have on is on so tight and so tough that you don't even recognize your own greatness. That's why you kick off a compliment, minimize a compliment. Oh, that's a nice shirt. Oh, it was only $2 on Temu. You invalidate when people validate you because you don't recognize your divinity. You don't recognize your intelligence, your true vibration. And there's people who see through your masks. They see through your mask and they tell you about yourself. Not that you're a low down, rotten person. They tell you how great you are, how beautiful you look, how great your energy is, how thoughtful you are. And you reject it, you minimize it. Because the mask has been on so long and so tough that you don't recognize who you are. You have to be willing to take inventory. And the best way to take inventory is not on this damn phone, man. Get your pen, get your paper, and list the things in your life that are going according to plan. And list the things that have failed, the poor decisions, the opportunities that you threw away. Trying to be popular, trying to be in the in crowd, looking for acceptance, validation, love, or just not to be alone. And this isn't to get down on you or for you to get down on yourself. It's because when you can recognize the things that aren't working for you, the people in your life that aren't adding to your, soul growth, they're not adding to your life purpose. They're not fulfilling. You don't feel like you're making an impact. When you have a clear list of these things, you have a starting point on what needs to change. And you prep yourself. You prep yourself for the reward, for the acknowledgement. What will I feel when I have achieved the opposite of this negative thing? What changes in my life can I expect when I remove this behavior and thought pattern from how I interact with this reality? And I chose to say how I interact with this reality because perception governs how we experience this reality. And if you are so preoccupied with people pleasing, being accepted, or measuring yourself by other people's yardsticks, your perception is always going to be twisted. It's always going to be distorted because you're not moving according to fact. You're moving according to perception. So whichever way the wind blows, you're going to go because you haven't planted that pillar, that centralized pillar, where that divinity can flow into you through the chakras above the crown of your head, all the way out the bottom of your feet and ground in this physical reality. And you can take a few seconds to try it right now. Don't try to figure it out how. Just sit up straight and feel yourself aligned with a pillar in the center of your body, a pillar of light. And as you inhale, pull the light all the way down, out the bottom of your feet if you're sitting, if you're standing, or the energetic bottom of your feet grounding into the earth. This is something you can practice while you're at the kitchen sink washing the dishes. Pulling your divinity from the cosmos, the cosmic collective consciousness, pulling it from outside of you into your physical body. Clearing all the channels in your body and grounding you in your divinity in this physical plane. The Divine Mother teaches us a lot about reality and how our thoughts and our beliefs turn into, feelings that are energy. Emotions are energy. And we send that energetic pulse out into the universe. And we might send them out for help. We might send them out for prosperity or abundance, but they never reach their destination. Because by the time they have moved through the ethers, and time and space don't exist, but by the time they move through your perception of the human experience, you have distorted those signals. And when it comes back, that energetic pulse comes back, you don't get the response that you want. You don't get as much money as you want. You don't get the right opportunity that you want. Number one, it has to do with clarity. Number two, it has to do with worthiness. Do I deserve this? Am I ready for this? Do I want this? What are the wheels in your mental machine that are telling you the problems that come along with this? Blessing that you say that you desire. Because you put things out there, and when they come to you, you got a mask of unworthiness on. You got a mask of uncertainty on. You got a mask of the person that somebody else expects you to be, not the person that you need to be in order for these opportunities to be grasped, to be leveraged, to be put to use. And you guys who have known me for a long time, you know I'm not the love and light type. I'm not the love and light type. I'm not the kumbaya type. I tell it like it is. I tell it like it is, and that ain't the best flavor for everybody, but that's the flavor that works for me. That's reality. You can't engineer a reality that you desire for yourself if you will not accept the reality of things as they are. You can't change nothing if you're not looking at things for what they are. You refuse to take inventory. And a lot of people will spoil you. A lot of people will coddle you. I'm not the one for that. I'm the one that's going to tell you, take responsibility for your energy. You know, you have to be that accountant. You have to be the accountant that goes and looks in your books. Do you feel like a prosperity manifestation of $10 million can hit you? No, because if you did, it would have already. You're doing your prosperity manifestation thinking about who you're going to give it to, what you're going to pay off. And then it don't come. And then you start to question your power. Because you've already decided that you weren't worthy of it before it even got to you. That you have to take what you've manifested for yourself and enrich others. So the same thing with love, the same thing with spiritual power. A lot of people come looking for spiritual power for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. And you will see, and I don't need to mention no names, you can go around. You can go around social media and see, the people who pretended to be spiritual to exploit other people. who led you with fear, who told you were, this outside force is going to come and this and this, and we're powerless. And then you have the people who stand in their power. And I really, really, enjoy that the Divine Mother plays stand in the God form. Stand in your God form. And when you're standing in that middle pillar and you're acknowledging that pillar of light and grounding your divinity in the earth, it becomes a situation where it's less spells that have to be done and more acceptance. When you look at, the Hindu deities, they manifest with multiple arms. And when you study their doctrine, you know that all the deities are in all people and everything like that. So when you start to see yourself in that middle pillar and you're looking at yourself as a limited vessel, your body may have two arms, but your spirit, your soul can manifest multiple arms. You have many ways that you can divide your spiritual energy without dividing or minimizing the power, and make yourself available for catching multiple blessings. You see, Ganesh or Shiva, or, specifically, Cobra or Lakshmi, they have multiple arms. Two arms up here protecting me, and 6 arms collecting riches and wealth and offerings. You have that same capacity. Absolutely, the real Ascension Guide. You have everything you need in spiritual or physical form always. Always. But you have to be willing to take off the mask. That exercise I gave you, it will help dramatically. It will help dramatically, not just in taking off masks, but illuminating the space within and the space with without and around you, so you can see clearly that there's nothing to fear. There's not only nothing to fear, there's no limit to where you can go or what you can do when you have faith in yourself. When you praise your own divinity like you praise the Orishas or the Loa or the Buddha or the Hindu deities or Egyptian deities, the Neteru, whoever you like to pray to and give all your credit to, your ancestors. When you start having reverence, meaning appreciation, love, admiration, faith, and respect for yourself, the way you have for these spiritual entities, evolved ancestors, ascended masters, whatever you want to call them, gods, whatever you want to call them. When you start having that same type of respect, dedication, and energy for yourself, that's when you start to unleash your real power. That's when you start to understand that nothing outside of you is greater than you. The Egyptians were great at speaking to our subconscious. Great at speaking up our subconscious. When you look at the hieroglyph for Osset or Isis, it's a throne. But people take it for granted because they don't understand that the throne is the seat of power. It's the seat of power. When you look at the hieroglyph for Osiris. It's a throne with an eye over it. And they want to sound it out as Osiris or whatever. But that means awareness of the position of power. There's only a space for one person on the throne. That's you. That's your divinity. Are you willing to, have a seat on that throne? Are you willing to not only sit at the throne, but project your divine power from that throne? And when you understand the energy of Aset and Isis, you understand that she's the mother goddess, the goddess of all things, the queen of the universe, the divine feminine personified. Ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing to cultivate your compassion? Because a lot of us wear masks that make us appear as people who lack compassion. And when we lack compassion for other people, the capacity to nurture our fellow human being, because we come here and like soon as your mom and dad announce a baby's on the way, there's impressions, expectations. You're already impacting lives before you manifest it out of your mother's womb. And nobody's saying that, they want you to be the treacherous villain or this big bad mama jamma or whatever. They're saying how great you're going to be, how beautiful you're going to be, how you're going to light up your parents' lives. So before you even got here, the expectations for you were great. I don't care if you were adopted, natural born, hospital born. The expectations for you were great. Maybe not from the people who you thought they should have been, but the world, when you were announced as coming here, the world knew you were going to be great. They knew you were going to impact lives. Fellas, baby on the way, it's going to make him a better man. It's going to make him a better man. It's going to give him an opportunity to soften up, cultivate compassion. Expectations have already been written for you because you were meant to trigger that in people. You were meant for people to speak blessings on you before you even got here. And you can't evoke that type of energy from people if you aren't meant to be great. How many times have you been in a store and seen a pregnant woman and just got that energy in you that this baby's gonna be great? This kid's gonna, have a good life. It's gonna make an impact. In your heart and your mind, you say something to bless that lady and that baby without even knowing why. When you see those kids in the little stroller at the store, something good, something wakes up in you because you see that pure light. You see it. You recognize it. And you want all the blessings to find it. That's what that middle pillar exercise is going to help you do. That pillar is pure light. And when you stand in it, when you connect to it with your awareness, it's a frequency adjustment. And all you have to do is be willing to allow it, knowing that when you connect to that pillar and become aware of the pillar and know that it, reaches the vastness of your awareness, it goes on forever. It goes on forever because that's what you are. You are eternity. You are the universe. You are an extension of light from a point of awareness. We're all spokes in a wheel. When you decide, and that's what it is, it's a decision. The decision means to bring death to all other options. When you decide that you're going to allow yourself to be enriched with that light, to ground your human experience in your divinity, when you make that decision, the frequency of the light is like a laser. It starts destroying the masks, eradicating them. It's an illusion. It can't operate in the same frequency or capacity as truth. And that's why I tell you to do the light pillar exercise. Not just to brighten your awareness, not just to energize your aura and have you feeling gassed up, because it will have you feeling like that. I promise you. It will have you feeling like that. But to realize and actualize your divinity and understand that your awareness of your power is more intimidating to celestial and terrestrial beings that desire for you to be weak and controlled. And with that, I will end my talk, and I hope that you guys apply the lessons of the light pillar and the information that was channeled into this lecture. I see y'all soon, man. Peace.